All right, so we are back. We, as in me, and
Rachel, hello everyone.
it's been a minute, Rachel. It's been a minute. Was it Renfield? Was that the last time you were on mic?
I think so. I think it was Renfield.
That was March, I want to say, or April.
Something like that.
Well, I'd like to say sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry for seeing that movie. So, I wanna. So we saw the Little Mermaid, 2023, and so just right off the bat, what is your relationship to the series?
So I saw and liked the original when I was a kid, and I liked the songs. It was
Mm.
someone's having car trouble
Yeah,
out there.
car horns going off. This is a bonus episode that needs to go out tomorrow, so that is staying in.
All right then, just keep moving on.
We persist.
Yes. So I really liked Ariel as a princess. She wasn't my favorite, but she was up there for me. And okay, it is gone. The beeping has gone. So yeah, I've seen the musical too, which I guess is not the original, which is your question, but
No, I just said what's your relationship with?
with the series.
Yeah.
I know I've seen bits and pieces of the sequels to Ariel, the original Little Mermaid.
I know the second one she has a daughter. I do not remember what the third one's about.
Right. I think the second one is probably the one I've seen then, because I believe the daughter wants to be back in the water.
So yeah, it's an inverse of the first one. Like so in the second one, Ariel is like, daughter, you stay away from the water. That water has nothing for you. You know, she becomes her father.
Basically. Yeah. And then the musical, I liked the musical when I've seen it. I can't remember if I've seen it more than once, but I think just once at the Muni.
Okay. So yeah, I feel like maybe it's because I am a young boy. I'm a boy, but I was just indifferent to the Little Mermaid. I'm not gonna say I didn't like it, but it really wasn't one where I was like, hell yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Music, music's excellent. Like that was when Disney was firing at almost all cylinders. So yes, music on point. I really like the Broadway musical. Like for a time that was on my playlist, like almost every single song.
Wow.
And I mean, I really like the additions that they had for it. And I even rewatched the musical before I saw the movie. And interesting. They really didn't take too many songs. Now that I'm thinking about it, they didn't really take any songs from the musical and put them in the live action version.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
From what I can recall.
I know compared to the original, they took kind of one or two away, just like little small ones at the beginning, and then they added some.
I will say this. I don't remember what the name of it is, but the song where Sebastian's about to be cooked in the kitchen.
Yes. They cut that.
I don't like that song, so I was happy that we didn't have to sit through that scene. But getting off track. So is Little Mermaid? So a question that I'm doing too much. Sorry. A question that I asked some of my friends is, what are your top 3 pure Disney movies? And would this movie be in your top 3? No, I'm sorry.
The original?
The original Little Mermaid. Is that one of your top 3 favorite Disney movies? Pure.
Oh, gosh. I have trouble picking favorites.
Right, but this is a question I've asked you.
I don't think it's in my top 3.
Okay. So you like The Little Mermaid, but not like that.
I mean, it's probably in my top 10, but not not top 3.
Okay. I mean, this isn't, but like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of it. So movie theater snacks. So we got Little Mermaid popcorn buckets, and I will insert that onto the YouTube version of this, giving myself extra work that I don't want to do, but I will put them on here. They're really cool. They light up. They're neat. Rachel bought me one. She's too kind. They weren't cheap. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What did you think of our audience?
I thought they were okay. Like, there were mixed reactions to some of the parts, but I think overall it was consistent. Like, the audience kind of laughed together, and yeah, I think we were on the same page.
I can't speak for the entire audience, but I feel like the women next to me, they were on almost the same page as us. Like, there were some things happening where I'm like, no, absolutely not. And we were all laughing, so I appreciated that. Going into the movie, what were your hopes and wishes?
Well, I was hoping that Halle Bailey would be really good, and I was looking forward to Daveed Diggs as Sebastian, and I just wanted it to be better than some of the other Disney remakes. Which is very high hopes.
Why are you throwing shade at Beauty and the Beast?
I mean,
at least they hired someone that can sing in the lead role.
That's true. Well, Emma Watson could kind of sing.
What's that now?
I thought she did all right.
When the last time you saw that movie?
When it was in theaters.
Okay. Moving on. Yeah, I was hoping for Aladdin because Aladdin is one of my top 3 favorite Disney movies. And I went in like, y'all really about to do this? Y'all really about to remake my stuff? And I went in like with that baggage. And it was a little bumpy going in, like starting off. But then by the end of it, I was like, you guys did it. You did it. And so I'm like, I hope that this is just decent. I hope this is closer to Aladdin than it is Beauty and the Beast.
Well, see, since I know they can do what they did for Aladdin, that's like what I hope for every remake, even though they've kind of failed on other remakes.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there needs to be... let's actually talk about this. Why are they doing this? Because it's like, yeah, it's easy money, but like, is this some sort of like weird like copyright loophole? Like, why are they doing these?
Yeah, they're doing a lot of them. Yeah. A lot, like too much. And they're doing ones that haven't been out for super long. Like,
I mean, you gotta remember how old we are. Well, you gotta remember how old, we are. We aren't the same age, but you gotta remember how old we are, because it's like this one's like, what? It's like over. Well, let's see.
I think
it's over 30 years old.
Yeah.
Oh no, Little Mermaid's older than you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was the late 80s, wasn't it?
89.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the movie's over 30 years old, so it's like. Yes, but like, why aren't we like remaking more Bronze Age movies? Like, we did Cinderella. I think they did Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, Maleficent.
Well, yeah.
And no, they did do Jungle Book. That was really good. Like, I feel like the better ones are the older ones. No, because Aladdin was good. I'm rambling.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's just weird. Like, they did like there was one that recently that came on Disney Plus. Not Lady and the Tramp. There was something else recent.
Like a cartoon that was live
action remake. Yeah, this is not good talk for this specific medium. We need to push forward.
Yeah, I'm not remembering what you're talking about, but we can look it up.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just weird. But yeah, I was just hoping that Pinocchio.
Oh, yes, Pinocchio.
And technically Peter Pan.
Peter Pan?
Peter Pan and Wendy came out like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't realize it was already out.
People seem to hate it.
Okay. So
makes sense. It got dumped on streaming.
Yeah.
All right. So non-spoilers. This movie is basically, the Little Mermaid that we all know. The public knows, not the true story, not the original source material, but like, Ariel's infatuated with a human boy. She makes a deal with Ursula the Sea Witch. 3 days, you don't have a voice, get that kiss, and you good. And, stuff happens, and all is well in the kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, they changed some of the details, but the basics were there.
So let's negatives. Actually, you want to do negatives or positives first?
Let's do positives first.
Bold woman
Switch
here.
It up.
Bold woman. So I will say I agree. I liked some of the changes. Like, if you recall from Beauty and the Beast, that whole movie felt like it was trying to acknowledge and correct all the plot holes that people have come up with over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And with this, it didn't do that heavily, but like it did kind of sprinkle a few things in there where like there was a clause in the deal Ariel made with Ursula where she was like, she's going to forget that she needs to kiss this dude, because a lot of people were like, why didn't she just go up there and just like kiss my man's on the mouth,
right?
Like the second she saw him, like stuff like that. But I really liked that they kind of like were playing around with a little bit of backstory where King Triton was like, we can't trust these humans. They're in their ships and they just pollute our oceans and they hunt us down. And if we find any, we're gonna kill them too. And when you get on land, the queen is all like, we had another shipwreck, huh? The goddess of the sea hate us, and like they've cursed our seas and our ports are nothing now. And it's just like there's this old war against these two kingdoms, and I found that interesting. And part of me wished that this was a prequel to where we could see some like them, like their war against each other, like not outright war, of course, but like just like the little infractions they had, and like Ursula like behaving however she behaved to where she had to get banished. And we see Ariel's mother and she dies or whatever, and like maybe that's how we end it, and then the sequel, Little Mermaid proper, could be the cartoon.
Yeah, and they made some comment about Ursula stirring up trouble between the human and mer people world in this movie, which I don't remember in the original, and I thought that was interesting that they like said that specifically.
Right.
So it definitely lent itself to more backstory.
Yeah. And I did find it interesting that I will say this. I liked the look of the actor that played Eric. Like, he looked like he was pulled from the cartoon to me. So I feel like they did a really good job on casting that guy. I don't know who he is, but I liked that they kind of threw in there like, hey, Eric's not from here. And like that's kind of interesting because I'm like, ooh, what are we gonna do with that? We didn't do anything with that, but that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other positives?
Yeah, I liked Halle Bailey as the Little Mermaid. I thought she was great. When I was rewatching the original, I was thinking like Jodie Benson, the original Ariel, had some kind of like classic old Hollywood in her, and I feel like Halle Bailey brought that too, and like the way she was singing and the way she was saying some of the lines, it just had a very classic feel to it.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, so I really liked that. I did really like David Diggs as Sebastian. Like, I didn't like Sebastian the way he looked, but like, I liked the voicing of him. I think whenever that actor does something, like, you can tell he's having fun with it, and I felt like he was doing that in this movie, so. And then Melissa McCarthy kind of surpassed my expectations a little bit.
I agree. She did quite well in the role. I will say I could tell she was having fun.
Yeah.
I'll comment on David Diggs when we get to negatives.
Oh no.
But yes, the music was almost great. I enjoyed most of the songs. I appreciated that they were like, we're gonna write some new songs and we're gonna expand some stuff out on land. I appreciated that. Um, the effects were pretty good. Like the water effects were interesting, and we saw like a little clip before we started recording about like how they did the water, and they had like some sort of like, I wouldn't call it a harness, but it was like a ring around their waist, and it would like hoist them around the blue screen, and that I've never seen that before, and that looked interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely put work into it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not joking when I say this. I wonder if James Cameron consulted just because of like all the water stuff in Avatar.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been smart to have him as a consultant.
I mean, it's not like he's on the payroll.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I did think that was neat. I liked like the boat, the shipwreck scene with the fire and everything, and it's raining, but the fire is raging on. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was definitely effective.
Yeah. Do you have any other positives before I can let my hair down and let my true thoughts out?
I don't think I have any more positives.
Oh, I do want to throw in there that I did think it was. I liked that we were in the Caribbean. So they were like, this is why she's black, because this is the Caribbean. And so, like, if you really think about it, like, the internet was all like, the Little Mermaid can't be black. This is in Denmark. Blah, 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 blah. This doesn't make sense. But, like, we're in the Caribbean, and it makes sense for the Little Mermaid to be black, but it doesn't make sense for Eric to be white. If you really think about where they are.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that a little bit in the car ride over, and yeah, that was interesting. And I liked how they had, because in the original, like, all of the mermaids, the daughters of Triton are white, but they try to do like one daughter from each of the seas and have her actually represent where the sea that she comes from, and so I appreciated that.
I didn't like that one of the sisters was all like, she's sad because our mother died. And I'm like, wouldn't y'all have different moms?
That's what I thought.
Although, I guess, she called her mom because that was her stepmom, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, we don't know the backstory. They didn't fill it in for us.
We didn't get it. We didn't get the prequel.
Use our imaginations.
The Big Mermaid.
Yes, the Big Mermaid.
So, I will say negative. I didn't like how scarce the cast was under the sea. Like, there were some situations where it's like there was a shipwreck and the daughters are cleaning the wreckage up instead of like the king's guards or whatever. I'm like, why is royalty doing this?
Yeah, you definitely saw more mer people in the original. And like even swimming down to see Ariel, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but you kind of cross paths with other mer people as you're getting down to her, and so we didn't see a lot of the other mer people in this world. It didn't feel like the world was as full as in the original.
I agree. And also, small nitpick, I feel like you should really make the title sequence of a movie, not title sequence, like when they show the title of a movie, you should really like make that like a spectacle. Like, you shouldn't just be like, okay, the movie's starting, title of the movie, all right, let's go, Like, I feel like we should have had the little intro of, like, you know, them at sea doing stuff, and we had the little Eric intro, and then we finally, like, dive into the water, going to the kingdom and stuff. I feel like that's when we should have saw the words Little Mermaid should have came on the screen instead of we just getting that shit out the way and, like, okay, movie. Like, let's build up to, like, the title of this movie for me.
Yeah, so honestly, that was one of my negatives, was the sequence, the opening sequence, because in the original they start with the birds in the sky and then they work their way down to the boat where Eric and the sailors are.
Do they sing Fathoms Below in the beginning of the movie? They do in the musical.
I don't remember specifically. And then
they don't in this live action movie. It's in it, but it's not like a song. Like, the men are singing it, but you know how in music, I'm not talking to you, obviously. Like, you know how in musicals, like, you can tell, like, they're singing a song, but they're not actually singing a song. In this, they were just singing a song.
Yeah.
Like, it's not in their heads. Right. And I was like, that kind of diminishes it for me.
Well, they made some changes to the relationship he had to the people on the boat. Like, it was different. But yeah, back to the or the opening sequence. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been awesome to have them more go through the levels. Camera work. Yeah, and then they could have had the Little Mermaid spelled out, like, once you see the, you know, beginning of the kingdom down under or something.
I 100% agree. It's just, they were just like, all right, let's get that over. All right, let's go. Come on, movie. Come on. So how long was this movie? This movie was so long.
I thought I saw it was 2 hours and 15 minutes.
What? Isn't the original like 80 minutes?
It felt short when I watched it the other day, but also movies these days are a lot longer than they used to be.
Yeah, it's 2 hours 15 for what we just saw, and an
that's
hour
after
23.
Credits.
Yeah, so 83 minutes for the 1989 animated movie. I'm just like at one point you looked at your watch and I looked over because, you know, it lit up, and I'm like, it's 9:30 right now. Like, why is this still happening?
Yeah, especially because they cut some stuff and then the stuff that they added wasn't as good or necessary.
Right.
So, yeah.
I didn't really. So, I get we're in the Caribbean, but I feel like for me, I feel like we're kind of past us. If you don't actually have that accent, please don't do that. Like, I'm like, why is that? Why do they have Daveed Diggs doing this accent? Like, his voice is interesting. He has an interesting voice. He could have just been Daveed Diggs. Yes, I know people would have been mad about the purity of the character, but you made Little Mermaid black. You made Ariel black. I feel like we can drop an accent. You made you made King Triton fucking Spanish. So stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, man. Flounder and Scuttle and Sebastian, seeing them in motion and talking and stuff, it didn't look as bad as I thought it would look.
So to me, Flounder and Scuttle didn't look as bad as I thought, but Sebastian looked as bad as I thought. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't like how accommodating the castle was on land. Like, Haley gets, washed ashore. No, the man finds her on the boat. And he's all like, I'm going to take you to the castle. And I'm like, why? The castle doesn't care.
Oh, so I was thinking it's because they've had a history of taking people in since we now know that Eric was taken in.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were going to say they have a history of taking people in because they're at war with the sea people. So they're like, I'm sorry that the sea people have, like, shipwrecked you.
It could be both.
Yeah. Okay, well, that does make sense.
I mean, they said Eric was from a shipwreck, so
that makes more sense. Oh yeah, like, so we've gone to a few reviews. We've gone to a few movies together, and we rarely do we talk to each other. But I was just like, It's just like the backdoor entry for like Tarzan.
Yeah.
Like when they're like, oh, he's a shipwreck baby, and you know how for a while there was that Disney theory that
wasn't it Frozen?
Tarzan's parents were Elsa and Anna's parents, and I'm like, are we playing with that? Like, is Eric gonna try and find his home, and it's gonna turn into like another Disney remake or something, like secretly?
I mean, they could make another prequel. Eric's pre-adventures
Eric's
to
beginning.
The Little Mermaid.
Coming from Disney, I am really frustrated that they haven't done the Marvel thing and like made this like a shared universe, like all these movies that they've been remaking.
That would be cool.
Like, I know you don't play video games, but are you familiar with Kingdom Hearts?
No.
So Kingdom Hearts is a video game that takes Disney characters and also this video game series called Final Fantasy, and they're in different universes, but it's like something's happening to like hurt these worlds, and so they need to like band together.
Okay.
And I'm like, you could really like do some Marvel stuff here and be like, and we're off away on adventure, and then like, I don't know, somebody jumps through a portal. Like, you get Aladdin. Well, not Aladdin. He's talking shit about this movie. But you get like Cinderella or somebody, it's whoever plays the young lady, and like you see her in the background, and it's like she's like, oh, I wasn't quick enough, and or you actually let Ursula win. And then, as an audience, we're like, this isn't supposed to happen. And then you got Cinderella popping up like, this is definitely not supposed to happen. And you're like, what is happening right now? I don't know. I want more from these movies. Lin-Manuel Miranda has written some original songs in this movie. Well, at least one that you can clearly tell he wrote.
Yes.
And I like him as a person. I think Hamilton is brilliant. I think In the Heights is really good. Freestyle Love Supreme, amazing. But I hate these songs that he's writing for movies. Like that Encanto soundtrack. Yes, we don't talk about Bruno as a bop. But like, stop making people rap, or not even just rap, but like sing as fast as they can, like with all these words together. Like that same style. Like, please stop it, man.
Yeah, I felt like all the songs in Encanto kind of sounded the same.
Yes, they sounded like Hamilton knockoffs.
Yeah.
But you got the guy that wrote Hamilton to write the songs, so he's like copying himself, but badly.
Right, and we know he can do amazing things, so like, why is he not doing amazing things with these?
My thing is like, he gets the credit for writing those songs, but like, who helped you? Who went uncredited? Yeah. Yeah, and then it's just like my very toxic but so short and so unique voiced girlfriend Aquafina is in this movie, and I'm just like, get your coin, girl. But
wait, she's under your negatives?
Yeah, because she had to do that damn Lin-Manuel terrible ass rap song.
Is that the only reason she's under your negatives, though?
I mean, genuinely, if you were, this was just a check for her. She didn't do anything unique. She didn't do anything to Aquafina. She didn't throw around the N-word. Like, that's not the Aquafina I know and love. Okay.
Well, she could have done that with a Disney movie, but
no, like, I'm like, pass.
All right. So this is the one Aquafina role that you could pass on, huh?
I mean, I won't be seeing this movie. I mean, I'm not gonna see Renfield again. She was shit in that.
Oh, that's true.
So like, no, this isn't the one. Like, a lot of her stuff is trash. I still like her. But, I have stuff that I need to, work on. Okay, Rachel?
That's fair.
But yeah, at this moment, that's all the negatives I can think of. Do you have any other words before we say if we recommend this movie or not?
I do have some more negatives.
Please.
So I don't know if it was just me or the world that we were supposed to be in, but I thought the movie was really dim for some parts.
Oh, like, could it have been like our projection, like our screen?
I don't know. I couldn't tell, and I didn't know if it was just like, if it was on purpose because we're underwater or what, and to see the contrast of like the above world versus below. But like, there were some parts that I felt were too dim or like too dim for too long.
Okay.
And so I kind of wish, they can make it seem underwater, but still have like a little bit of light to it.
I get you. It's possible it was our projection.
Yeah, it's possible. So maybe it's just a negative of our theater. Who knows?
I didn't notice that. But just because I didn't notice it doesn't mean that it's not a valid issue.
That's true. And I also thought, so there was a moment when Ariel and Eric first see each other when she's in her human form, where they still kind of have that like magical love at first sight moment.
It's called chemistry.
And yeah, I felt that was missing in this movie.
Well, they built to it. I feel like it was more natural where like he first met her and he's like, because it like in that scene where she saved him, he really didn't get a good look at her. All he did was hear her. So if he just sees her and he's like, okay, this is some girl, but then he got to know her. So I personally believe that, but I do hear you.
Okay. I just thought there was like the X factor missing, like of him really hesitating. But I get that they did build it up more in this movie than the previous movie or the original. Although, because in the original, she's like, I'm in love with this guy. And all she's done is like, look at him.
Yes. Yeah. Like they tried to correct some of the sins of the past.
Yeah. So that's fair. But I don't know. I miss like a little bit of the magic in and between them.
So did you have a favorite song in this movie?
Probably Part of Your World.
Same. Same. Also, I really did not care for Haley's parts in Under the Sea. I feel like she should not have sang in it because like her voice didn't sound right with what they were trying to go for, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought they were just trying to have her sing more because she has such a beautiful voice.
Yes, I mean you're paying. I hope they paid her quite well. They're like, you're gonna be in every song it makes sense.
Basically.
Yeah.
And
why are we on the topic of songs? I got some more wind in me. Why did they give that boy a power ballad, Eric?
I know. I was surprised you hadn't brought that up yet.
I did not write it down in my notes. When we were watching it, I leaned over and I was like, "This is giving Pierce Brosnan and Mamma Mia," and you said
it's not that bad.
Yeah, you were like, it's
Les Mis. Yeah. Because I feel like he could sing as like a rock star, but not as like a classical musical vocal talent.
But like my thing was like, I would hope that this young man probably can sing, but they would probably just be like, no, we want to distinguish this from the other songs. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe is what happened.
I hope there's a reason for it, because.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know if there's ever a situation where if it's a musical, you have a character running and singing, if it ever sounds good.
Yeah, that's true.
So also it felt like to me, every time, and I know this was not the case, every time Haley would sing, it felt like she was actually singing in that moment, and they weren't like playing music. But like for Dude, it felt like they just was like, all right, record this in the booth. All right, now, dudes, now move your lips, and we just kind of play it over this. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
No.
Yeah. Trying to think if one positive that I forgot was Jodie Benson showing up. That was fun.
I didn't understand that scene because I thought we were about to get Aladdin, because she was like taking food and like other little trinkets and not paying for them.
Yeah,
and
I was wondering about that too.
What is the economy on this island? How is nobody like bringing the giant dagger out, like about to cut your hand off because you over here just stealing?
Yeah. I mean, I get that she was overwhelmed and exploring and like she doesn't know the rules, but like I don't think we needed it to that extent.
No. Would you recommend this movie?
Wait, I'm not done with my negatives.
I am very sorry.
So in the original, when he gives her the reins to the carriage,
okay.
She goes crazy with the horses, right? But she like jumps over like an opening.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So instead of like running over people, she has them jump over like this like valley thing. I don't know. There were little details from the original like that I was like, I don't appreciate that she was almost running over people, because I think she like her character would have given back the reins if she was like almost running into people, because she's a caring person.
Yes. Yeah. I kind of didn't like that either. I'm like, we really out here being this reckless girl? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what we're doing, Ariel?
Yeah, and there were little things like Flounder had found the statue of Eric to bring to her kind of hideaway with her trinkets and stuff under the sea. Like, she didn't find it in the wreckage, like he found it for her, and they're just like little things that I was like, I think I preferred the way the original did it to the way this movie did it. But I'll wrap it up from there, because that's just nitpicking now.
Okay, so would you recommend this movie?
I mean, that's a tough one for me, because I think if you've seen the original,
okay, stop. Did you like this movie? Because I feel like it's two different questions.
That is.
Did you like this movie, and would you recommend it? They aren't the same thing, because for me, they're not the same thing. I didn't like this movie, but I would recommend it if you enjoy The Little Mermaid, 1989, or you are a child.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of along the same lines. Like, I thought it was okay, like so, but I would recommend it to certain people, and like just to, like, I thought Halle Bailey did amazing.
Yes, almost every song, she knocked it out the park.
Yeah, she really did great.
And also acting too.
Yeah, her acting was excellent.
Especially when she couldn't talk. And she's still, doing quite well in the scenes.
Went through the motions, and yeah. So I'd still recommend it for people. And I mean, there were certain things that we both liked better than, the original or the musical or whatever. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see some of their take on it.
Like, as this movie was wrapping up, and we're about to wrap up too, because we're at 40 minutes.
Okay.
As this movie was wrapping up, I was like, this wasn't so bad. I'd give it like 3 stars. It's fine. Like, I didn't hate it, but it's fine. And then the movie's ending, and then Javier Bardem pops up out the water, and I'm like, this looks ridiculous. That you got this man in the water halfway, and you talking to these people. This looks stupid. And then all the mermaids came out. Oh, sorry, spoilers. And then all the mermaids came out the water. And I'm like, what is happening right now? This looks dumb. Like, who signed off on this scene? On these scenes? What are we doing? And I'm like, no, I don't like this. No.
That was another thing I didn't like. In the original, they're already there. They already showed up to support her and to support their marriage. And in this one, she's waiting and hoping, and you don't think he's going to show up. And then it's just him and like a handful of other mer people. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean,
this is supposed to symbolize the kingdoms coming together, and there's like just representatives.
You know, the cast is light under the sea, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, did not care for that at all. It looked silly. Also, like, I get that this is a good this is an old fashioned, like, we're gonna the two warring kingdoms are gonna marry off their kids to like foster peace, but like, how I said this when I talked about that movie on that animated movie on Netflix, the Red Sea or the Red Monster, something like that. Where it's basically How to Train Your Dragon, but in water, where you can't just get rid of prejudice overnight, and like the prejudice against mer people, and on the flip side against humans is like ingrained in their society at this point,
right?
And like we're just a couple days later, you know what? I'm okay with you people. That's not how that works.
No.
And so like.
That's Disney magic.
The thought of like all those mer people like out of the water and just like out here, nobody about to like get some knives or some spears and just start like just attacking. Like I was just like, what's happening here?
Yeah, it would be more like Romeo and Juliet or West Side Story.
Yes.
I did forget to say that in the original movie, Eric is being pushed to marry, which made more sense to me for him trying to find a mysterious girl, other than to just thank her.
Yeah.
Like he was being pushed into it. We didn't really get that in this version.
No, that's very true. I don't even think they said the name of Ursula's human form. I
don't think they did.
It's
no.
like, is it like Rachel or something like that?
It might have been.
But yeah. So final thoughts. It was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but it was fine. Long. Really wish it wasn't long, but hey, it was. Heartbreak feels good in a place like this. You know?
Yes. I agree. I think it was fine, and I'm probably going to give it about the same stars as you would.
Fair enough.
On Letterboxd. So, yeah.
Vanessa. Her name's Vanessa.
Oh, Vanessa. That sounds right.
But all right, we're going to get out of here. Go see it at your, if you will. If you got kids or if you like the original, go see it. Have fun. It's got a good soundtrack. Mostly.